Okay, hey everybody, real quick. I want to talk about the reason why therapists or people that's in the healing business or licensed psychologists, like the reason why they tell you to revert back to your childhood, okay? The reason why they tell you to revert back to your childhood because your childhood is the most authentic space that you were in as a being, as a spirit, okay? It is the most authentic space you are in before you start second guessing yourself, okay? And a lot of times in life, depending on where you were raised, who you were raised by, the people you had in your household, the things you had in your environment, it made you second guess yourself, right? Because now you are not seeing yourself as your own personal spirit, because when you were a kid you only know what you want to do, right? That's why kids are very animate about the things that they want to do. They don't know they don't know anything about what's right and what's wrong. They only concerned with their little spirit. That's all they know, okay? So when it comes to you in your childhood, okay, there are things that you attune yourself to naturally, authentically. That was the essence of you, right? And the more, excuse me. Okay, so the more you experience doubt, or the more you displayed yourself as who you are, people talked about that, right? You could have been you and your authentic self, and your mother told you stop, right? Or your mother told you, what are you doing? Or your mother said, you shouldn't do that. Or your father said, well, you shouldn't like that. Or, whatever it is, you make you second guess your authentic self, right? So they always tell you to revert back to your childhood, because that is where you will find your peace at. That's where you will find your abundance at. That's where you will find your most happiest at. Okay? That's why a lot of people today ain't happy. That's why a lot of people today, I said it right, that's why a lot of people today ain't happy. Y'all asses ain't happy, because now you not only suppressed your childhood, now you are suppressing your adulthood. Okay, let me break that down, because what happens is, when you are a child, right, you are authentically yourself. You're a being. You like things you like because you like them, right? So when people start criticizing that, you put a shell over you, right? So that shell now covers your authenticity. Okay, that shell covers your authenticity. That shell put another blanket, a layer on you that wasn't supposed to be there. That's not what you were created to be in, right? But unbeknownst to you, you believe, well, I must deserve this, because, or I must have this, because, why would they give me something that I didn't need? Like, why would they give me something that, that don't benefit my good, right? But what you understand, that people, adults, your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, whoever you're around, are only giving you the things that they perceive in their perception, right? That does not make their perception right? But unbeknownst to you, you believe that they are right, because if this is your parents who did this to you, your parents are your gods. No one higher. Nothing higher than that. Nothing higher than that as a child, as your parents being your God. Okay, so you automatically say to yourself, well, why would my God, say things that I shouldn't listen to, or whatever, right? So when you carry these things off of in adulthood, it's heavy. When you carry those things in adulthood, it's heavy. Okay, you are not happy. You do a lot of masking. Okay, you do a lot of downplaying. You do a lot of suppression. You do a lot of catching up, because you don't know the missing piece is your authentic self. You don't know that. So what you're doing is, you're trying to carry the things that people placed in you that had no business being in you in the first place, because you wasn't created to be in that mode. Okay? But the more you try to carry it, the more you are carrying like a foreign object, and you wondering why like you feel uncomfortable here. You wonder why it feels different here. You wonder why you're not satisfied here. But because it doesn't belong in your life. Okay? So when it comes to therapy, that's the reason why people always, I don't care where you go, a healing section, a session, a metaphysical, a licensed therapist, they always going to ask you about your childhood, because they want to know at some point something changed within you, and that's within your childhood. Okay? The key to getting back to yourself is getting back before you changed. It's getting back before you were getting stuck in other people's perception of you. Getting back to that space where before people looked down on you, people talked about you, people hurt your feelings, people called you these names, and you didn't know what the fuck these names meant, and you thinking to yourself, well, why would they say that to me? Like, it gives you in the fucking whirlwind. Okay? So when it comes to healing, if you don't revert back to your inner self, if you don't revert back to your inner child, okay, if you try to ignore your inner child, because a lot of times that happens too, because once we get into adulthood, oh, well, I that's beyond me. Like, oh no, I don't do that. I'm grown. I don't enjoy myself like that. I have different enjoyment right now, and because I'm 60, and you still need to laugh. You still need to be free in yourself. You still need to be free in your spirit. You still need to be free in your authenticity. That does not go away with age, y'all. You need to be bright. You need to be loving. You need to be full. You need to be abundant on the inside, and doing the things that make you feel good, or doing the things that revert back to your childhood state. And it could be for an hour. It rejuvenates you, because your child, you starving your own child. You are starving yourself as a child, and you wonder why your adulthood you're not being fed. You got to complete the whole cycle. You got to complete everything. You got to say, you got to put two and two together and be like, okay, well, that fits there and this fits here. Okay? So don't ignore don't never ignore the parts of yourself that has the ability to heal yourself. Don't ignore that. Okay? Don't even ignore the things that hurt yourself, because how can you fix it if you ignore it? How could you fix it if you're not acknowledging it? Okay? It's a lot of things that we as adults do to ourselves on a day-to-day, okay? But you have to revert back to your authentic space. You have to revert back to your authentic spirit, right? You got to revert back to your authentic being in order for you to get that full essence of who you were created to be, not the perception and the ideas and the feelings that other people placed upon you here. Okay?